Yo, what's up, guys? Looks like the mic is finally working. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Got it. Got him. Got him, guys. All right, so today we are going to host the last and final stream for 2018. And, it's always a good idea to prepare, and no audio, to prepare what we're going to do for the next year. Now, whenever I'm trying to think of how to plan things out, I normally don't have any type of board or any type of calendar that I put things on. But today we're gonna do a interactive planning for 2019 with your host, me, and everyone in the chat. So I'm gonna try to figure out what I want to do for 2019, and I have a couple of ideas. I don't have anything kind of like solidified onto paper yet. So, we're still in the phase of brainstorming what we want to do. And the first thing that I have planned out for January of 2019 is sort of the IG stories feature. Would you call this a feature? I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we'll probably develop a course around the idea of the stories. So let me see if I can get my P-mouse tool up and running here. Mouse click. I think I want to do this. And let's see. Okay, so clicking on here will now do that. This way you guys can see what the heck is going on. So if you guys aren't familiar with these mouse tools, I am using this tool called P-mouse. Allows you to do some really neat things. I think this app costs $9.99. Yeah, so you can do the spotlight thing, which is pretty cool. I don't know how useful this stuff is, but you can turn things on like that. Anyhow, it's good for recording videos if you don't use this tool called MonoSnap. Yeah, anyhow, how did we get off tangent into talking about recording applications? Okay, so we have some recommendations in the chat. Let me just go ahead and say what's up to everybody. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yeah. Make sure not to say anything rude in the chat. I'll probably ban you if you do. Okay, Mujabi Mohammed, Hong Yi Liu, Vasily Dmitriev, George Majuro, Huvads, Uzdin, Jello Gears. You inspire me to make application on iOS. Thank you for that. Can I hear you? No sound, no sound, no sound, and no sound. So James Allen, seeing you active in the YouTube video comments section a lot these days. So I noticed that a lot of people aren't leaving many comments in the videos anymore. And I don't know, I guess there's not a lot to talk about in the videos. Maybe there's not, I don't know. But if you guys want to be more active in the video comments, it helps me gauge what's good to teach and what's not good to teach. Like, for example, the last video on the stretchy header layout feature. I thought it was fun, but it takes a lot of code to explain some of that stuff. Mohammed, Gel, Lin Kun Xing. This is Lin Kun Xing. If you guys can't read this, if there's anything that I recommend anybody to do, it's to learn a foreign language and try to actually speak and read in that foreign language. It really helps you develop a keen sense of how languages work and how you speak your native language even. It's a good idea. This is a dev stream by Edwin. You know, maybe if I knew how to like talk in sign languages, that'd be pretty cool. Silent no sound. Got it. I think I got it. Cannot you man hong yi liu. Good. This message is hella for review. It's kind of what's the right term for this? Ironic? Not ironic, but this isn't really helping since I have the stream on the chat on the stream, right? Loud and clear. Happy Christmas. Yeah, happy holidays, guys. I am. It's currently December 29th here, so not quite the New Year's yet. And I spent the holidays, Christmas, with the family and the folks. As you're getting older, like I'm in my mid 30s right now, it feels like holidays aren't what they used to be. For me growing up, the biggest holiday that we had was Chinese New Year's, where you do the whole fireworks and you visit family, you collect money in the little red bags, little red envelopes. That was a lot of fun. But nowadays it seems like we get together and we celebrate with the kids. I don't have any kids, but with the nieces and nephews, and see what's up with them. Okay, hello. Okay, so now we're getting to the juicy stuff. Brandon Thomas, do an Uber clone. Okay, e-commerce app, credit card, and PayPal. Okay, maybe I'll give my opinions on some of this stuff as I go through. I remember a few months ago, I was trying to develop an Uber clone with a driver and rider app. So there's two separate apps, right? And it got really confusing when I was building the application and typing the code out for both apps. As I was building it out and I was running the app, I realized how difficult it would be to teach two different apps running at the same time. So I kind of gave up on that. I still have the source code for it, and I don't know, not exactly sure what I want to do with that yet. So e-commerce app, that is definitely something that I will try to do. So let me just jot some of these notes. So let's see, Uber clone, I don't know, maybe let's make this a little bigger. And let me know what kind of mocking design tool do you guys use? I tend to focus on Photoshop because I have all of these tools and all these font editing things and filters, but this is a little bit overkill. Let me left align this stuff. Okay, so that looks better. And let's see, so Uber clone maybe. E-commerce app, yes, a million times yes. And yeah, so credit card and PayPal payment processing. I'll probably do credit card with Stripe payment processing. PayPal is a little more difficult and tedious to set up. I'm not sure if I want to set up a dummy PayPal account because you kind of have to verify some of the personal information on that side of things. No, don't know if I'll do that. Maybe if I charge like $100 for that course, then maybe I'll do this. Let me also know, because I know the pricing structure of the courses on my website are somewhat arbitrary, but also based on what people can afford. And so there are a lot of people that are like, right now we have a couple of thousand students on the letsbuildthatapp.com platform. So I kind of have a sense for what people are willing to pay for and what people can afford and what your budget is. And so I I can actually put out like a course that has a lot of advanced content, and it'll take 50 to 60 lessons to go through everything. And if I wanted to do that, I would have to charge somewhere upwards to like $100 for that course. If you guys like in the chat, like hit +1 if you guys want to see an expensive course that goes through more advanced content, I guess. Because I don't really feel like making an advanced course that's hard if I can't really spend a lot of time on it. So let me know if that's something that you guys want. Because there's definitely people that have the budget to pay for more expensive things. Okay. Instagram, Android, Kotlin. So Instagram, Kotlin. So this is also a yes. How about we do this? Because I can. Okay. So this is what I like about Photoshop. It's just so flexible. Okay. So we'll do that. And let's see. Okay, so this is a temporary no for now because the Uber clone is hard. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so let me get back to the chat here. I'll be answering a lot of questions and just seeing what you guys have. Brandon Thomas says build some apps with the storyboard. Maybe I'll do a storyboard app. I don't know. You can't really do a lot of advanced things in the storyboard. And for people that have been programming for decades like me, what should I say? How should I put this? Building very simple applications is very boring for people that have been doing this for a long time. And I would get bored out of my mind if I were to build like a simple table view controller app again. Okay. Okay, so we are back down. Oh man, you guys are really active today. Oh, 108 people. Ooh. So, okay, let me try to get through this quickly. Flutter. Okay. 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 Whoa, no. Okay. Flutter, Instagram. Okay, I'll be going through the chat a little bit slower today because I have to input all of this stuff in there. So these 3 things I do want to take care of. And so no storyboards, design pattern series. Can I get a yellow icon? Okay, so this is gonna be my maybe pile. Okay, so here's our maybe pile. Okay, so here's the maybe. I like to color code my icons. Okay, we'll do that. Design patterns. So I thought teaching the MVVM course in the Tinder series was a lot of fun. And what made it a lot of fun was it was extremely difficult to teach MVVM because it's so abstract. No storyboards. Yeah, so I probably won't do anything with storyboards because I feel like you don't really learn a whole lot using a storyboard. So You know, it's for like lazy programming, which I don't really recommend. Tips for final release to App Store. That's a good idea. So App Store. Okay, so let me group some of these things together here. Okay, so we're gonna do this and group that. I don't know if you guys can hear the music. I mean, it keeps me company. Design patterns. So what do we have here? You know, App Store release cycle. Can you guys see this? Okay, you guys can see this. Okay. Oh, a lot of good stuff in the chat. Infinite UI, collection view, scroll, horizontal. So I have a App Store clone. Have I shown you guys the App Store clone that I had? Do I want to do this? No, where's my music? Okay. Okay, let me show you my App Store clone for 2018. There's so much stuff on my hard drive. Where is it? I think it's called the App Store. Okay, App Store 2018. We're gonna launch this. Okay, XR. So when I run my app, sometimes my whole computer restarts. So let's hope it runs successfully and nothing blows up. So it's during this process where it compiles and it tries to launch the app that everything seems to blow up. Okay, we're good to go here. Okay. Man, you guys are seeing the top secret, non-released content. Okay, so here's what... I don't know, does the App Store still look like this? This seems so unfamiliar to me because I open the App Store so infrequently. Okay, let me see. Games. Okay, so here's what the games page looks like. Okay, you guys can see that, right? And on this right here, we have this, that, and that. And if you wanted to implement like horizontal infinite scrolling, it's kind of similar to this right here, but with more items. I mean, you would just... actually, I don't really know how you would do infinite scrolling. But here's something that I would like to go through. And all of this data is actually coming from the iTunes search API. So, you know, it helps to not have to build out your own database with all the icons and images. Just pull it straight from the iTunes apps or iTunes search API thing. And you can also click on these apps here and it loads up the entire page. And I noticed one common theme with this application is the horizontal scrolling that snaps into certain areas of the screen so that it doesn't like flow. It continues to flow. I don't know. You guys probably noticed it with the collection view, right? So that's one thing. And yeah, so that's something that I wanted to try out and teach. So we'll see if I ever get that done. You know me, I say I'm gonna release something, but I never do. Okay, so a Netflix clone. Well, this list is gonna be extremely long. Okay, so Netflix clone. Okay, how slow are you going to move? Okay, we're just gonna move you manually. Okay. Netflix clone. I guess the UI or movie playing. So I've I've gone through the Netflix idea a few times in my head, and the major obstacle with building out Netflix clone would be getting the video content. Like I can get video clips of stuff. Yeah, maybe I can do that. Maybe it's not that hard. Really love your courses from Kim Lang Hor. Thank you, Kim Lang. Dennis B, greetings from Germany. Greetings from California. Use storyboards. You're gonna get cyber bullied in this chat if you keep mentioning storyboards. You're gonna get some tomatoes thrown at you. And you don't want that, right? Dilo Tawari says, I like the way you teach us. Yeah. I really wish there was like a resource. This sounds like bragging or something, or sounds like a flex. But when I was growing up, if there was a resource such as YouTube where people are teaching you how to program in a innovative way, make it fun and also like engaging, this would be super awesome. I'd be such a better programmer. By now I'd be a lot better. When am I gonna create a Patreon? Should I create a Patreon? Okay, in the chat, hit a +2 if you guys want me to create a Patreon, and if you guys are gonna donate money to me to keep doing this, that'd be awesome. I just don't know what I would provide on Patreon that I don't already provide on the website. The paid content on the website and also the free YouTube content. Like, what else can I do? I'm already so burnt out on producing videos. I don't know if I can do more things on Patreon. Okay, e-commerce app. Yep, got it. Localization, right to left and left to right. I don't really know if I want to do that because it's such a niche feature. I don't feel like doing the research for that because I don't really know how to do that. The right to left language stuff. Hello from Eastern Europe. Hello. Flutter, okay, got it. The Kotlin stuff, yes, we'll do a Kotlin Instagram clone. I also have a Kotlin Instagram clone on my hard drive, but that's going to require me to launch Android Studio and run it. And should I do that? I don't know if I should do that. I don't even know where it is actually. Let's see. Instagram. Okay, Kotlin. See, this is why you should organize your projects better. If you guys don't know the way that I organize my projects, it's like this. Let me show you. So here's my folder, and all my projects, they just live in one single folder called Let's Build That App. And here are all these sample projects that I made. Hopefully there's nothing here that's embarrassing. So as you can see, there's all this stuff. Maybe if I gave you access to my prototype projects, you guys would be able to look through some of the code in here. Yeah. So I often get lost. I get lost in my own hard drive. Okay. So let me see what else is here. Okay, so Zan Swift says, videos help to develop and publish my second app, Kaz Epos. Don't know what that is really, but go check it out if you want to check it out. So I also plan on releasing a, let's see, do that. So releasing iOS app for LBTA. So I also plan on doing this because I finally figured out how to stream videos from Vimeo, and that'll help, avoid the cost of hosting my own videos on Amazon. That's super expensive. Don't really want to do that. Tech trick. Do you have any advice for managing time and currently learning iOS? Going to university simultaneously. I don't know how to keep learning iOS without affecting my studies. So this is so ironic. And I was sort of in the same boat when I was going to college and University of California, Berkeley. I had already figured out what I wanted to do as a professional when I was about 19 years old, before I even attended Berkeley. And I knew that because I had already developed like apps and I had already programmed games by myself, that's all I wanted to do. And I'm currently doing that right now. I didn't need to go to college for that. And so during that time, I always, on the side, I would keep building Flash apps and Flash games. And going to school, I just felt like 90% of the classes were pretty much a big waste of time for me. I just wanted to study some of the computer science basics. And, you know, in hindsight, those computer science courses were extremely helpful. But the rest of the courses were just an utter waste of like time that I wish I can get back. So I don't really know how you would juggle that, because I went to school full time. I had part-time jobs and, you know, also trying to maintain a healthy social life. Not easy. I do feel for the college students in 2019, I guess. Do you know anything about summer 2019 iOS internship? Not really. Oh yeah, Flutter finally went out of beta. I think it's in release mode. Currently it's in release. Any free courses coming up? Everything on the YouTube channel is kind of like a mini course. I don't know if I'll do like a full-fledged like app clone again on the YouTube channel. It's a lot of work because you have to plan out like 20 episodes. It's not easy. Something with AR. I don't know. This channel isn't really for AR because I don't know AR myself. Kind of difficult to teach things that you don't know how to program in the first place. Yeah. What courses are we going to teach this year? We are trying to figure that out right now. E-commerce app. So machine learning and AI, things that I don't really do a whole lot myself. So as you guys can probably tell, I'm really into like building out UI and, you know, piecing things together so that they look nice and provide a good user experience. That's kind of my specialty, and that's what I like to do, and it's very enjoyable for me. Machine learning and AI, it's not like I don't wake up and think about doing that. Augmented reality app. Again, no AR here. Sketch is better and simple. Yeah, I do agree. Sketch seems to be simple. You know, I'm just old. I can't really learn like a lot of these things. Okay, so Flutter, Adobe XD, it's free. Yeah, you know, Adobe actually reached out to me and they wanted to have me produce a short 10-minute tutorial video on how to use Adobe XD to release like a prototype iOS application. They were gonna pay me, you know, I don't know, it was like a couple $1,000s to do it, like a 10-minute video. And at the time I was kind of busy and I didn't really want to learn a new like software or design development package. So that kind of didn't work out. And you know, I didn't really need the $1,000 or the couple of $1,000 that they were gonna write me. third-party framework for writing UI like texture. So that's interesting. I would probably put that in the maybe pile. AliExpress app. Is that an e-commerce app? Andrian, hey, what's up, man? It's been a while since we last talked. What's up? Just an idea. Can you make courses deep about NS Operation Q? Because most of the YouTubers out there always make tutorial about GCD. So the reason why a lot of people don't talk about the Operation Queue is because GCD, the dispatch queue, dispatch async, that's GCD. And Apple makes it easy to avoid all the pains of creating your own operations, your own threads, and keeping track of your queues, and popping and pushing things onto the queue. It's not so fun. But operation queues are an interesting topic. I had considered putting together like 5 to 10 lessons on operation queue. I don't know what the hell happened, but I never released it. Make an AWS tutorial. I don't know. AWS is so vast, and there's just so many different services that AWS offers. Like, the only thing that is worth learning is to use AWS S3. Beyond S3, like, I don't even think EC2 is something that you want to dive into. Like, it's best if you can avoid EC2, I would recommend that. So, like, just get a machine on Heroku or go on Docker. They provide machines for you. Managing your own EC2 machine is just you're asking for a lot of work. AI, machine learning. It seems like 2018 was all about AI and ML. Ugh. Again, things that don't really interest me. Design patterns, object-oriented programming, and multi-threaded courses. Object-oriented programming. So if you don't know this already, we've been doing OOP for forever now. So not really sure what else we can do with object-oriented programming. Okay, so we have the +1s for people that are interested in paying more for more advanced content, because you guys do have the budget to afford more premium stuff. So maybe I'll put out courses that are that cost more, but in the end provide more value. Because right now I'm already recording these courses for, I don't know, $50 to $60, and like, honestly, you're getting a whole lot for like a small amount of money. I know, $50 is a lot of money for some for regions that are not like developed. Is that a bad thing to say? That sounds horrible. But for example, in the United States, we obviously have somewhat more money than the rest of the world. Is that even true anymore? I feel like we're in a huge debt now. That our national debt keeps on increasing. There's no end in sight. Every year it seems like we have a trillion more dollars in debt. And the taxpayers, they keep paying that off, and we need to support the troops, I guess. Instagram, Android Colin, yes, for sure. Cool. Android developer roadmap. Wow. Okay. Holy crap, you guys are really active today. Is it because of New Year's that you guys are either super bored? Have you guys partied your brains out last night? How many of you guys are drunk? Or how many of you guys are having a hangover today? Because yesterday was Friday. I'm going to assume that you probably had a rager of a party last night. And waking up to this stream was something that you're probably not expecting. But then again, if you're watching this channel, you're probably not a huge party person like myself. Any React courses? Maybe React Native. What can I say about this? I don't really like React Native, is what I'll say. I like React.js a lot. I built a website using React.js. And React Native, I never really got into. Oh no. Oh, please, no storyboard from James Allen. Okay, so George Major says, I like the redesigned LBTA website. Yeah, the LBTA, the site it's been redesigned for quite some time now. So I would consider the current version of the website to be version 2.0. There was that really ugly looking thing that we had as version 1.0 a long time ago. It wasn't ugly. Well, yeah, it was pretty ugly. But the focus there was to make sure you guys had somewhere to download all the source code for all the videos. And now the website has been revamped, redesigned. I still plan on doing like a version either 2.1 or version 3.0. And we'll probably have like a custom video player, some achievements or badges for people that are continually learning on the website. You know, things that I have in my mind, but I know it's going to be a lot of work to implement. But that's why it's good to have my own website. I can do whatever the hell I want. It's not like a cheap WordPress website. Storyboards, please. Okay. Can people tell me what the appeal is with storyboards? Like, why are people so dead set on using a storyboard? I don't really get it. If you're learning iOS programming, you should learn programming, right? Like, why are you learning some visual tool? That makes no sense to me. Like, if you're learning how to build an app, you should avoid the tool that makes you the laziest, which is a storyboard. I remember when I first picked up iOS programming, like Swift wasn't a thing yet, storyboards weren't even released yet. We were still using the zibs for our view controller views. How do we even do that? Yeah, all we had were those zip files, and everything worked out pretty well. So, like, I had to manually draw everything out on my app. And that's what you got to do. When you're working at a real job, you have to write out code, believe it or not. Adaptive layout without using storyboard, you have to check the size classes. It's not that hard. The bouncing effect on the iMessages. I've looked at that so many times and I don't understand how it works. Like, all the physics to attach all those messages together like they're on a string. It's really cool. I don't know how it's done. You have to calculate the momentum and also the deceleration of these certain boxes within this list. I think if you maybe build out your own custom collection view flow layout and somehow manage the views and give it some kind of deceleration, like multiplication factor, maybe you can do it. It seems really tricky. Okay, I love Swift. The same app in Kotlin as Swift is so hard to manage also if you have to program it back in Angular, so I'm Flutter. Yeah. What can we say about this? I feel like Swift has become pretty easy. Like, if you've tried to learn a different programming discipline, like let's say Java, there's just so much to learn in Java. It's hard. And Swift, I feel like there's so many good resources out there. Like, Swift is pretty easy. Kotlin, however, is harder because you have to dig through Kotlin, which is such a new language. So I kind of get it. I would say Flutter is also relatively new, but the learning curve on this is like, once you understand how to lay out things, it becomes really simple. to build out apps for Swift and Kotlin. So the only thing you have to be worried about is the backend. I don't know. It seems like you have to spend like a good 5 years to be able to tackle all these things. I don't know. Flutter is making my develop time more efficient. Yeah, hot reloading is a major upside to using Flutter. AR, AI again. Hey, Ion, Crayon. Is this supposed to say crayon? Oh man. Viper architecture. I don't know. It seems like everyone's like obsessed with Viper. I don't even know why. I see so little discussion about Viper and Swift. I barely see anyone mention Viper, so I don't know why people talk about this so much. Oh, okay. So I learned Golang now. Maybe Golang for backend. Oh, so we have a Golang fan. Awesome. My website's built on Golang. And so here's the thing with Golang. If you want a solid foundation for a backend, something that's strictly typed, using Golang is one of the best ways to go. And the speed of Golang is like extremely quick. Your request will be served within just like a couple of maybe like 100 or 50 to 100 milliseconds, and it's just amazingly fast. However, learning curve for Golang somewhat steeper. The other option that I would recommend is to learn Node.js, but you don't get the benefits of strictly typed variables, and maybe it's a little slower. I don't know. The speed isn't really noticeable nowadays. Downside is yet another language. Firebase and Flutter with Angular website CMS are the best combination now. Yeah. Build a table view to PDF. That's interesting. I think there's a PDF exporting library in UIKit now, right? Again, ML. I don't know. What would I do with ML? See, I can't even think of a useful application for ML. I'm just so old. Coordinator pattern. To be honest, I've only looked at the coordinator pattern like twice. I get the idea. I don't know if I fully recommend that people go like balls to the wall and use such a complex architecture. How would you do the animations between Tinder card and user profile? That's a good question. I have like some sample code that does that, but the code is so ugly that I didn't really want to get into it. I mean, it's kind of hard. And so it would involve like a lot of you would have to get the clicking on this card, you would have to animate the cards at the top, and then once the animation is done, you have to present some things on the bottom. Like if I had maybe 2 days of free time, I could probably get it done. It's just the animation that's like somewhat, it's not even that tricky really. My emulator is slow. Any advice? I don't know, buy a new computer. Command T. New tab? What would a new tab do? How would you add a collection view in a static table view? I don't know, add it in a cell, right? A Spotify clone. I had a Spotify clone like way back in the day. we have max codes. Nice. Max watching one of the courses on his Instagram stories. Netflix clone, some TV stuff would be dope. I don't know. I feel like Apple TV apps are kind of dead. I know your channel is more about apps, but I would love to see some data structures or algorithm video from you, or maybe some computer science theory or math related. Have you watched the algorithm videos yet? There's quite a few of them. I know it's not the majority of videos, but there's a good like 20 videos on data structures. So dig through that. I think you should do a course where you cover strictly fundamentals, the core of software development. That way a junior developer can level up. I think it's a $100 course, easy. I definitely buy. Greetings from New York City. Cool. I haven't been to New York in quite a while. Last time I was there, I visited Manhattan. I think I had some New York pizza. No, that was Chicago. No, I think I had some New York pizza too. And went to... what the heck did we do? I know it was super cold. We then stopped by Toronto and then also visited Montreal. I thought overall Montreal was pretty awesome. Was it Montreal? No, it was Quebec. Quebec? Montreal. I think it was Montreal. I can't remember. It's such a long time ago. But yeah. So I've thought about making a course on fundamentals, but I don't really recommend that people think about programming in this sense where like programming isn't really about like having this foundation of stuff that this foundation of knowledge. That's not really what programming is about. The way I think about programming, it's more of a skill that you develop slowly over time based on what you're interested in. So if you want to build UI, you have to know how to write out UI code. If you want to build out like backend, you have to build out backend code, which is totally different. So the only thing that is like the only overlap in terms of fundamentals and foundation is you obviously need to know how to do a for loop, how to work with arrays, how to work with dictionaries, hash maps, how to declare variables, write functions, write classes, subclassing, protocols, interfaces, maybe some singletons, maybe some dependency injection, some instance initializers, custom constructors. What else is there? Maybe some pointers. Yeah, some pointers. I feel like whenever I mention pointers, people get extremely frightened and scared. No one really knows what the hell a pointer is. But yeah, maybe I can do that. I don't know if I can cover a course with like maybe like 30 videos on that stuff. See, the problem with that is I don't know. It doesn't seem really interesting to me. Because for me, releasing videos on Vimeo, on my letsbuildthatApp.com website, on YouTube, it's really easy to keep the video engaging and interesting if it's based on UI because it's a visual medium. If you're trying to teach like something so dry like for loops and hash maps and things like that, it's hard. Okay, pop pattern usage, maybe. So Laurenci, you do all for money, Brian, or you really like to teach? So, you know, it's mostly both. You wouldn't really be able to teach if you don't earn money from it, right? So yeah, it's really for both. I think the ultimate goal is to just show people how enjoyable like building apps is. It's really fun. It's a hobby of mine, so it's a good hobby. Anyone use TDD? I don't know. TDD. Even a lot of people that work professionally don't write tests. Twitch clones. I've been using Twitch more and more. So Twitch is I really hate the app actually. I find the Twitch app really hard to use. Well, let's do UI evaluation or comment on top apps. Yeah, I've thought about doing this too. Hello from Russia. Hello, Mad Green Duck. TED clone. I don't know. I haven't used the TED clone before, or the TED app. Weather app. So what's with people and their obsession with building out a weather application? I think that's the most boring type of thing to do. Okay, what's similar to building out a weather app? Like some kind of like Twitter feed clone? Yeah, I just find it's kind of silly. Oh yeah, a to-do list. It's just like a weather app. People like to focus on building out these things for some random reason. Abdul Jamak says it would be cool if we could see Node, React, or React Native courses. Your Node RESTful API courses was extremely helpful, so other technology languages would be cool. Yeah, I really like Node and React.js myself. And okay, maybe if I release the course for like $500, I would do something. Because as I think about building or even outlining some of these courses, it's like, how do I balance out like I really want to produce more YouTube videos for people. Like I really enjoy doing that, just trying to teach people how to put together these strange apps. And you know, every time I'm putting out videos on the website that are the paid stuff, I really feel like I should really be releasing YouTube content more. A Splash API. Kotlin sounds great. Best practice to share code using custom library or share code between Kotlin and Swift. I don't know how to do that. I would recommend that you not share code between Kotlin and Swift. It's like you're gonna run into a lot of dependencies between the sharing. It's not gonna be fun. And is it really that hard to write out the model code? Like I think people should really get away from this idea where you feel like you can tackle two different applications by using one shared code base. Never works out. Unless you have tools like Flutter is it's a good step in that direction, I think. Jonah Schuler, I would really like to see some tutorials on how to highly customize the iOS default UI elements like your Tinder tutorial. I don't really know how customized you want to build out your UI, because at the end of the day you're gonna want to draw something in some kind of rectangle and handle the touch behavior. You know, it's always a lot of work if you move away from the default UI kit toolset. My plan is to contribute to GitHub projects like testing code. Yeah, cool. I'm watching your stream like while playing Dota 2. Awesome. UI testing. Any saving app like charity money? Huh. I haven't really thought about doing like a charity app. That'd be interesting. Splash screen on any of your apps. So I haven't really done that a whole lot. Okay, so the Firestore data stuff. I think Firestore it's pretty powerful, but the querying capabilities are limited. I feel like you can get away with like 90% of the things that you want to do with Firestore. The 10%, which is usually the important things, like the important logic that you want to implement for your business, that 10% will keep you away from things like Firestore. So if you find yourself running into the wall of like, how do I get this certain data set filtered on this thing and maybe the last 5 or some kind of ascending order, like something complicated like that, you probably have to either use cloud functions or just straight up use Node.js and MySQL. That's what I would recommend. Phone auth with Firebase. Maybe I can include that in the Tinder course, maybe. Yeah, the phone auth stuff, that'd be interesting. I think it's really easy with Firebase, right? Okay, happy holidays. Well, happy holidays to you, David Kispy. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna pronounce that. Building a complex UI, please. So I have no idea what that means, but okay. Memos app clone, how to record audio. It's cool UI. I don't know, recording audio is like 5 lines of code. I don't know how hard that would be. More Android applications. Wow. Is anyone even interested in Android content? When I look at my YouTube stats for those Android videos, I don't know. People are so, well, obviously this channel is dedicated to iOS material. Health app clone, Apple stock clone. I don't use the health app. I barely use the stock app. So Muhammad Ali says, teach us how the Tinder algorithm works for how the matching works. Make a course on the location matches and how it works. Yeah. So when I was building out that Tinder course, this was something that I wanted to avoid. Because that algorithm, right? The whole company is built on the matching algorithm. So you'd have to take into account your swiping behavior, presenting people that are based on a distance and proximity of where you're located. And that would have to involve collecting location information based on the GPS of your phone. Now, collecting the GPS, the user location, is not difficult. So, you know, you have to present that screen, and then you have to save that data into Firestore, and you would then have to query. Yeah, See, once you run it into this query, like a distance-based querying, you probably want to move into like maybe MySQL. I don't know how you would do distance querying using Firestore, because you can't really query based on distance. How do you maintain your idea on both platforms, Android and iOS, without using a hybrid language? So I've worked on iOS and Android apps on separate code bases. I don't think it's that difficult. Like, it's not really that hard. You just have to open up the code base and start playing with it. Where am I? Man, so many comments today. Android version. Wow, okay, so it seems like a lot of people want to do Android. You know, when I was making this channel, I was thinking about what to name the channel. So the first couple of names were like, oh, Swift, something like Swift X or X Swift. Something to do with Swift, right? Because that's kind of what I wanted to start out with. And later on, I didn't want to be confined in the iOS Swift space. So, you know, I was going to just do, okay, we're going to build apps. So, you know, let's build a certain app. So that's kind of how the channel name got created. And I always wanted to branch out more into Android and also Node.js backend web programming. But it seems like one person doing all of this is kind of impossible. But I've somehow made it work. Half-assed myself into a decent amount of followers. Phone off, please. Okay, maybe. Any tips for beginners on how to structure classes in your projects? I feel like I'm doing stupid things like I am potentially going to regret or cause problems later on. You know, that's the learning process. Everyone goes through creating code that is extremely inefficient. That's just what you gotta do. It's what do you call it? The rite of passage. It's certainly, you know, every time you go back like a year and you look at the code that you wrote, you will find many mistakes. Netflix clone. So it seems like a lot of people are interested in the Netflix clone. So I have access to video clips, and let me see what. Okay, I'm gonna look at the Netflix app one more time. You know, not the best thing to do on a live stream, but we're gonna do this. I'm gonna load up the Netflix app, and here we go. So hopefully nothing too embarrassing in my watch history. You guys ever open up your app and people look at what you've been watching in the last 10 days? I just find it funny. Okay, so we're gonna snap this and we're gonna copy this screenshot. Copy. Okay, copy it into clipboard, delete, send to myself. Okay, and I'm gonna paste that in here. All right, so let's see, the Netflix app is going to look like this here. Okay, we're gonna do this, and here is the Netflix app. Okay, so what is so interesting about this app that so many people want to see how it's done? What can be said about this? Let me get my P mouse tool out again. All right, drawing, enable. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Okay, we'll do this. All right, so the interesting part about this app, let's just talk about the nav bar first. So it looks like you can swipe horizontally between these 3 items here, here, and here. Okay, so the nav bar is kind of like what we built out in the Reddit tutorial and also the YouTube tutorial. I think you can swipe horizontally. Let me make sure that that's actually true. Okay, so it looks like, oh, it's not horizontal swipe. It's more like a drop down filter. But yeah, so it's like some kind of top menu system, and it's really custom from what I can tell. I feel like Netflix has one of the best, both in iOS and also the Android app. It's so good. It's so smooth and so good. I feel like they're using like async display kit or texture. It's like, it's so amazingly, and the layout of everything just looks like, looks great on all devices. Okay, so that's that. Here is like a horizontal collection view where you can swipe from here to there, just keep on going over. And the same thing with this, right? So here's another collection view with a header title, or I guess it's like overall it's like a table view that goes vertically, and then inside of each one of your cells you have your horizontal collection views that allow you to swipe horizontal, obviously. So let me get rid of that. So if you look at this, right, it's really pretty much this. So you're just swiping horizontally like this. Okay. You know, same idea. So you just scroll up and down. This is a table view, and here is your collection view. So I guess playing the videos themselves, how would you even play a video? Yeah. There's a lot of good UI interaction in the Netflix app. Anyways, let's get back in the chat here. We're all pissed from Xmas. Well, that means you had a good time last night. So. Hello from Kazakhstan. Regions that are not developed. Not funny, but so true. Yeah. Thank you for the excellent courses and YouTube tutorials. Hello from Helsinki, Finland. Awesome. I didn't know people in Finland were watching. That's what's so nice about being on YouTube. You can access so many different regions and countries around the world. Like YouTube is so, you know, I'm so thankful for having YouTube as a platform that's available. And it's just growing more and more, and like accessing you guys out there from Helsinki. Awesome. Do a course with a bunch of basic things, not using the storyboards. I know people want like basic fundamental tutorials, but I just find those so boring that I can't do them. I can't like physically get myself to build out a course about like how to use a button. That's just super boring to me. You can do more live streams in 2019, maybe. I just think that people get bored of live streams. You know, I can't sit here and talk for like 2 hours and stay interesting. It's already been an hour and 10 minutes. And it seems like today we have 140 people because for some reason, being close to the new year means you're staying at home and next to your computer. I don't know if you're just waiting for like an epic New Year's party that's coming up in 2 days, or if you're just super drunk from yesterday. Please stay on Swift and no storyboards. You guys don't have to be, don't be too concerned about the storyboard thing, because I'll never get into storyboards. Yeah. If anyone wants to look for storyboard tutorials, this channel is not where you go for that. right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't get into those reasons right now. It's just, okay, here's the biggest reason why I hate storyboards. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. But like this comment down here, you see how it says tab bar to insert subview, button name above subview, self.tab bar. You can actually look at this and you can see exactly what it's doing. This code is very simple and straightforward, and you can type this out in text format, and you can leave it as a comment. You can email someone this, and you can help them debug what they're trying to do. When someone tells you that something doesn't work in a storyboard, there's like no way for you to describe, okay, tell them to click on this button here, turn on this toggle here, click on these two switches there, and have the storyboard do what you want to do, change some actions, outlets. Like that's impossible for anyone to describe using text. So I really hate that aspect about developing an iOS app using a storyboard. Like it's impossible to debug, and it's impossible for us as programmers to help you debug your storyboard. It's unless you're sitting right next to them, it's like virtually impossible. Create a tutorial about in-app purchases. I think Ray Wenderlich has a great in-app purchase tutorial. I've went through that a couple of times. Oh, my audio is getting really loud. Firebase is nice backend. I think Firebase is extremely flexible, and it's very versatile in terms of what kind of app you can build. However, once you get into once you actually have a real business, you're probably gonna want to move away from Firebase, right? It's hard to scale, and some of the things that you are limited in terms of the querying just really makes you a sad little boy at the end of the day. Node.js worth learning. Yep. Apple Car app. So if someone can buy me a vehicle that supports Apple Car apps, then I'll probably do it. So is there a sponsor that can send me a car that has an Apple Car enabled system inside of it? That'd be great. Movie app with a React Native. Ooh. So I tried to build a Flutter app that played videos. No go. That was a no go. When I was trying to work with the video libraries, that was a showstopper. I basically gave up because I couldn't figure out how to play videos. And playing a video in Swift, it takes like literally 4 lines of code to play a video. And trying to do it in something like React Native or even Flutter, I feel like you have to jump through so many of these hoops just to get something working. Not worth it. And maybe I'm just too stupid to figure out how to get that library working. I don't know what it is. JavaScript itself is a language that everyone should eventually master. I won't say master, but you should be proficient with it, because the web is never going to go away. And even if you're like some mobile developer or backend dev, you're going to have to touch JavaScript eventually. React.js. Okay. So again, if you're coming here for React Native content, this is not the place to talk about React Native. First of all, I don't really have a whole lot of React Native experience, and secondly, neither do I want to actually learn React Native. It's not something that I consider interesting. If you ever talk about React Native, I guess I would like to know why. I would like to know why you want to learn React Native in the first place. I've never really figured that out. Even though so many people want to learn that framework, I don't know why, or what's the reasoning behind your curiosity for React Native? Is it because of the job? Like some guy told you to learn React Native. Adri, I think I recognize this from the comments on the website. So I know you have purchased some courses. You're at least a fan of one course on the website. Some app that uses MapKit or Google Maps, RxSwift. So I was playing with RxSwift for a while when I was trying to develop MVVM tutorials. My overall evaluation on RxSwift is that the current state of RxSwift is I don't feel like it's in a good stable place where the code makes sense for beginners to jump into. So I actually prefer the old framework, the old version, I think version 2.0 of RxSwift, when they had the simple bindables and you can use the bindables very easily. Now RxSwift has, I feel like it's evolved into a place where they're not really sure how complex they want to make the framework, and so they're kind of stuck in between this area where you kind of have to know what the previous framework or the previous version did, and you have absolutely no idea what they're trying to do right now. That's where I feel like RxSwift is in, or the state of that framework. So I guess overall I'm confused as to what they want to do. To work as an iOS developer in big companies in US, what should you have to learn besides iOS development? I don't know. You have to learn how to speak language, I guess. I think I've mentioned this countless times before, but if you're trying to become an iOS developer, the best thing that you can do is actually learn like a backend language. Just learn Node.js. And when you're inside of an interview room, tell them, okay, I've built my own backend before. And they're like, oh, wow. You, a mobile developer, you know how to work with a backend? Oh my God, that's amazing. Why haven't we hired more developers like you? Because whenever something breaks in the backend, our mobile devs aren't able to figure it out. It'd be nice to have a cross-platform or a full stack dev. Okay, again, so this goes hand in hand. Adrian. How do you pronounce this name? We rarely see this without. This N is really throwing me off. Usually we have names like Adrian. Rarely do we see Andrian. Thanks for reading my comment. One last thing, I'm so struggling on how to start learning back end. Can you give me a suggestion? What do I learn first? I mean, what language do I need first? So if you go through that Node.js REST API tutorial that's already on the YouTube channel, you can get a sense for how to build a Node.js backend. It's actually not that hard. Why don't I have courses on Udemy? I feel like Udemy, well, currently what courses on Udemy are like $12.99, and if they sell a course for you for $12.99, you probably get $1. So I don't feel like earning $1 on Udemy is worth it. That's why I don't have courses on Udemy. And I'm gonna talk shit about Udemy for the rest of my life, so don't ever mention Udemy on this channel, unless you want me to trash them. I don't really have anything about against Udemy, actually. You know, they'll do what they do, and people will continue to talk shit about them. What do you think about clean Swift pattern? I don't really know what you mean about. Yeah, there's a lot of boilerplate code. So I have these libraries on my, like I have these small packages like UI collection view using some generic cell, table view using generic cell. I don't ever I don't register cells. I don't DQ. I don't implement like number of items. There's a lot of stuff that I don't deal with because the library does it for me. So if you can figure out, like back then I used LBTA components. I use a version of that that's updated, and just get away from implementing that code yourself. It's so boilerplate, and it makes your view controller files really large. I don't like that. QR code. I don't really have any experience doing QR code, but actually, do I? I've built out like a barcode scanning app before. We used to have this huge warehouse working at Touch of Modern, and the huge warehouse, you had to scan the item and you have to pull up the information on the iPhone app. So it was fun. It was like a Bluetooth scanner. Was it Bluetooth? No, it wasn't Bluetooth. It was like physically attached to the iPhone itself. Was it Bluetooth? No, it wasn't Bluetooth. Algorithm videos are fire. Yeah, I really like doing algorithms actually. I was considering going into what is that algorithm platform called again? I don't really go to that website a lot, but there's a couple of those websites. Maybe I'll pluck an algorithm here and there and present it on the channel. The thing about algorithms is most of the time I can't figure out how to do it. So whenever I present an algorithm on the channel, it's only because I've spent like an hour doing it, and I've looked at the solution. I've reverse engineered the solution to teach you guys. A lot of the times I also find it difficult. So whenever someone mentions basics, I really hate doing basics tutorials. You can see that the video content on this channel is usually it's not really meant for beginners to watch. Like, I rarely go over why you have to DQ stuff. Like, no one really wants to listen to someone explain the DQ process of a table view, right? If you don't know how a table view works, you probably don't want to watch the videos on this channel. Obviously, most of you guys already know this. Oh, that's interesting. Some kind of food, ingredient, nutrition application, and using your camera and also machine learning to figure out like if the food is healthy for you or not, or nutritious. And wow, how would you even do that? The machine learning, the data set would have to be pretty advanced to help you decode the actual image from your camera and also figure out the nutrition associated with that camera image. Huh. That's really advanced. Like, that'd be a good app to build for like a final project, I think. QR code, what's up? I don't know. Okay, Mehmet Ascend says that, hey Brian, your courses are only available as US dollars. It's so expensive to some countries with low currencies like mine. Do you have any plan for that? So currently I don't have any plans for like course price reduction for other countries. It's just me building out these courses. So I don't know what I can do for people that are in different countries with different currencies. Like, yeah, I mean, I do feel kind of bad not having the courses available, but at the same time, the YouTube channel has so much content already. The YouTube stuff's free, and it's still good, I hope. So that's That's how I sleep at night. Okay, we have 128 people still watching this stream. I feel like we're gonna go on and be recording the stream for an hour and 30 minutes. Any last questions? Please get them in. I'll probably grab my lunch in like 10 minutes. I actually made this big dish of lasagna last night, and oh my god, the recipe that I looked up, it was actually meant to serve like a family of 6 people, and so I ended up having this big like 9x13 lasagna casserole dish thing, and now it's in my refrigerator, and I don't know how I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Yeah, if I can just cook the lasagna right now and just bring it over here and eat it and just chat with you guys, then maybe I should have did that earlier, or like prepared that earlier. Live and learn. Machine learning things in apps. What do you think about the future of technology? I think it's going to get more advanced, like progressively harder to learn and also easier to get into. But I think the state of, writing out apps and building out things using the internet, we're in such a good place, and information is so easy to access for everyone right now. Yeah, I think we're in a great place. The thing about technology that I don't like is how it's so easy to spread negativity and this political nightmare that we're in using Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of an unfortunate result of the spreading of technology. $1 equal to 140 to our currency. Yeah. How much would you say a Swift teacher like you makes, like from the people who buy your courses and YouTube? So in terms of money, in terms of money, like you really have to think about YouTube as a business. So you have to have a good number of people that are willing to like buy things from you, and it's a decent living for like my current state. And it's been 3 years since I've been doing this, and it's had a steady growth. Like I made $0 for the first year, like literally made $0 on YouTube the first year. So if you're willing to invest the time and slowly build it out, it'll accelerate. So last year was doing pretty well. Like last year I think it was less than 100K, and then now it's just it's doing a lot better now. So you just see this slowly gradual ramp up of people that are willing to support you, but it's not easy. So it's good. It's just an honest relationship that I have with people that are willing to support me. So I provide you guys with some educational knowledge, some value there, and you can in turn give me some money to support this cheap. Well, it's not cheap. This camera actually costs like $2,000, and to also support these lights here and my internet bill, and also my computer. You guys actually bought me my computer. Can we talk about Hackintoshes anymore? Is that illegal to talk about? So I'm not gonna say that I built a Hackintosh, and I'm not gonna say that I spent $1,000 on the Hackintosh parts. I'm also not gonna say that I produce all my videos on Hackintosh. So those are things that I am not going to say that I did. Okay. And I'm also not going to say that you guys helped me purchase my supposed computer that I don't have. Is teaching profitable? I mean, anything that you do is profitable. You just have to build out a big audience. Now, when you're thinking about building out something, you think about it, right? You have to first be able to see if there's people willing to actually look to you for things like advice and knowledge. If there's enough people, then there's a business for it. If you're just making videos on the internet and no one gives a crap about what you're saying, then no, you have absolutely no chance to be successful. So the first thing you have to do is you have to test the waters. If there's people, if you can build an audience, then you should do it. If you can't, then just avoid it at all costs. Just cut your losses and go do something else. It's as easy as that. And if you're lucky enough like me and you find something that you can do, that's also the other thing. Like you have to find something that you can do for like a couple of years. If you hate doing this one thing for like years and years and years, just don't do it. Like I can produce videos. They're easy for me, and I actually like doing it. If you don't like producing videos, like never go into YouTube if you don't like doing it. I find it very hard to make the steps from iOS courses to like coding myself without video guidance. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of in this state of if there's no tutorial, then I can't figure out how to build this certain feature out. And I get that, you know, like I have to watch tutorials myself to do things in, like, let's say Photoshop or OBS or Adobe After Effects. You know, I have to look at tutorials too. But once I get the foundational things, once I learn that, then I just keep playing with this stuff myself until I hit a wall, and then I look for another tutorial. So it's constantly just me figuring out how to do things. This way I don't become dependent on resources to keep on learning myself. Vapor Swift. So let's talk about Vapor. Okay, so I'll try to do a Vapor tutorial. No, so this. Okay, let's do this. No, that's not what I want. This. Okay, this has become super messy. Okay, Vapor. So, okay, more specifically Vapor 3 Swift. Okay, so anyone that doesn't know, this is the backend. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. Clarity, not charity. Check that. I don't know what you're talking about anymore. Real life one. Async display kit. Why do people want to learn this so much? Is it because you feel like your app is slow using a table view and a collection view? Like, how close to 60 frames per second do you need? Oh Lord, am I gonna ever get through this freaking chat? You see how much I have to scroll up just to get to where I was? So I've figured out how to not lose my place as I scroll down. I just have to highlight certain parts of the chat. And you can see I'm only in the middle of this freaking chat window with the scroll bar here. Or a little bit underneath, like 2/3. Okay, I'm gonna start skipping over some people. So apologies for skipping some stuff. I know live streams are interesting because you can get your questions answered. But if I gloss over your question, it just means that I have either answered it or I don't find it interesting. No offense. Your question is just not interesting to me. How am I? How am I? How am I doing? I don't know how I'm doing. So every day I feel like I get more and more burnt out making videos. So what I try to do now, like those last 3 videos on the stretchy header layout, I made those 3 videos in one day, and I was like, okay, I can relax for a week, release these videos in Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and I'll think about making videos next week. And here I am. We have to produce videos for the next week. There's a lot of pros and cons to making your own schedule. The worst part about being your own boss is you have the power to slack off. That's the worst thing. You know, you have 100% freedom to do what you want. I own you a promise. You promised me to do a course about transition of view controller. You know, every time I see a fancy transition inside of an app, like I just saw one in the Netflix app. When you click on a video and it does a fancy transition, it's not really a UI view transition. Like, it's not a view controller transition. It's just a UI view animated, and then the view controller comes into view using like an alpha transition. Like building this out is super easy just using views. I always stay away from UI view controller transitioning because it's unnecessarily difficult. So I can make a course about just UI view controller transitioning. Netflix and e-commerce apps. Do it, master. You should work with image interlacing. Oh my god. Why? Okay. We have 106 people. GPS live tracking looks pretty interesting. So David, live tracking. So the live tracking is nothing more than you moving with your phone, and as you move, you have to update Firebase or Firestore with your current location, and as you update, then you would have to listen for all the drivers that are around you, and you have to listen for their locations. And yeah, see, that's what I was building towards, and I can't remember why I stopped the Uber clone. But as I'm thinking about it now, it sounds really fun. So maybe I'll eventually, David, you've convinced me to rebuild, or not rebuild, but to revisit the Uber code base that I spent like 3 days working on, and I figured out it was a shit show. Apple Jam. Brian is making new courses faster than I could watch them. Keep them coming. You know, I didn't think I could produce 47 of those Tinder videos that quickly. But it seems like a lot of people are enjoying it, I hope. I mean, again, we have like a couple of thousand students on the entire website. So, you know, a lot of people investing some decent amount of money. Last Saturday of 2018. Thanks for all the guidance for the past 2 years from the crab. Maybe the good angels keep you safe in 2018. You know, I think 2018 was a pretty productive year for me, at least. In 2019, I hope I can continue this steady pace of being somewhat productive, and we'll see. As I learn how to manage my time more and more, I'm hoping to, maybe eventually hire someone to help me do things. But every time I think about hiring someone, I just get a headache. I don't want to manage someone else. I don't like telling someone what to do, because that seems like that's yet another task for me to delegate someone to do something. Oh, here's another question, Fahad. I like to volunteer to take some of that load out of your shoulders for free. Take me as an Asian intern. Or take me as an intern. So I had my cursor right here, and it looked like it's a take me Asian intern. What do I think? So yeah, I've had people reach out to me about things that they can help me with. I don't know what I can do, really. I mean, I don't know what other people can help me do right now. The hardest part, really, for me... What is the hardest part? There's nothing extremely hard about the job, per se. I think the thing that takes me the most time is sitting down and actually start recording a video, because the preparation for building out the project beforehand takes so much time. That's what I find somewhat more stressful than the other things that I have to do. Love from Pakistan. You are great with good content. Please use the storyboard. I think people are just trolling me with a storyboard at this point. I'll never touch a storyboard, right? I guess when I say never, I actually do mean never. The last 3 years, have I ever touched a storyboard? That'd be an interesting statistic. Every time I say that word, statistic, I find myself stuttering. Statistic. Hard word to say. Statistic. The English language has so many hard words to actually to utter, to speak, to say out loud. A language like Chinese, all the words and all of the syllables for words, they're all the same. There's not a huge amount of variation between all the words, so it's really easy to say things. The only thing that's hard is the tones. But anyhow, I find English, as I record more and more videos, I find certain words to say on during the recordings. I am also from Helsinki. Apple Jam. Nice. Creative Cloud. Can you do core graphics tutorial? What is core graphics? Is that like core animation? I remember way back in the days, you actually had to import core graphics to access things like CA layers and animation frameworks, but now you don't have to import that. It's all bundled into UIKit. Back into Master. Please make a course. So glad to purchase your courses. Nice. I'm glad that people are like learning from the courses. Simon Quack says we spent too much money already. Make free app series on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll do a free app in 2019. Now playing feature like music apps. Now playing feature. If you watch the podcast course, you'll find the now playing feature at the very bottom of the tab bar. So if you want to learn how that's built, check out the podcast course on the website. letsbuildthatapp.com/course/podcast. With the S, I believe, podcast. Or just go to the website, go to the homepage. Victor Santos says, learned a lot, but you're moving away from Swift because of the limitation of building something only for iOS. I think it's rare that you have to build out. Isn't it rare for one person to be working on both the iOS app and the Android app? Now, I find Flutter, like, there are a lot of things that I like about Flutter. And I find the Dart language and the widget composition, I actually really like that. And if you can get away with building out Android and a Flutter app, or Android and an iOS app using that framework of Flutter, I would recommend doing it. However, like, Swift is really powerful. If you have to do something more complicated, you'll have to eventually go back to Swift or Objective-C. What is the right way to implement a screen using a storyboard or programmatically? I don't know. Do whatever you want. Why are you asking people on what to do? Yeah, people want to learn React Native so that they can have just one code base. I guess. You know, for the funny thing about these cross-platform frameworks such as React Native or Flutter, or not even Flutter really, but just React Native, is that for the people that have worked in React Native, they understand how painful it is to maintain both the Android and the iOS code base. It's like it's a huge pain, and the build tools that you have to deal with, it's just so tedious and annoying to keep everything up to date. And for people that haven't built out React Native apps before, you feel like it's some kind of silver bullet, but really it's not. You go through the same amount of headaches just trying to make it work. I'm not a fan of storyboards. Yeah. I don't know. Reading books. I don't read books anymore. I don't think I've ever read a whole lot of books in my life. Have I thought about being a app developer, indie app developer, and publishing apps to make money? Not really. I don't find that to be a sustainable way to, be financially set. Automate builds, unit testing with Jenkins. I like Jenkins a lot. I've built out my own Jenkins boxes and hooked up the unit testing with GitHub and their webhooks. So I don't know how to produce a course like that. How would I produce a course like that? The app would have to be somewhat interesting to test first, and then we'd have to hook up the unit testing target, commit the code, set up a Jenkins box. It's not Jenkins, but GitHub has a thing where what's the thing called? I can't remember. There's a website that helps you test your code. You don't have to build out your own Jenkins. Create a TikTok app clone. So I've been working on this app on the side that plays videos and allows you to like kind of scroll through videos like a TikTok thing. The hardest aspect about building a video application is that you have to host your videos on some kind of website. So the best place I find that you can host videos for like a affordable price is to use Vimeo.com, and I currently pay for the pro package, which is $200 a year. Now that $200 allows me to just put up videos there, grab a streamable link, and then stream that video. So if you want to build out a video app like TikTok or Instagram stories, you have to use one of those services that help you transcode your videos. If you're just trying to use something like Firebase Storage for video streaming, then that's probably something that you want to rethink, because the Firebase Storage is only useful for storing things like files, videos, and audio clips maybe. Trying to play a full video just using storage is going to be extremely slow because of the buffering time. And it takes up a lot of data. The amount of data that you access from Firebase Storage is going to be quite expensive and prohibitive in terms of scaling out your users, your application, and trying to support everything. It's going to be expensive. Is it incredibly difficult to work at Apple? Yeah, pretty hard to get into that company. And as an Apple employee, you're probably not allowed to make videos about anything at all. Remember that girl so there was a story about that guy that brought his daughter onto the Apple campus. She had her phone out, recorded some of the latest prototypes for the iPhone 10, and she put out that video that she made on YouTube or Facebook or something. And then her dad actually got fired from Apple because the daughter put up that video. Unfortunate, but they're really secretive about what you can and cannot do at Apple. Create a Facebook clone. Who still uses Facebook? Like, honestly, do you guys still use Facebook? I find that I'm rarely on Facebook nowadays. I'm mostly on things like Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the last app that I opened, I think Facebook is on the last page of my iPhone. Can you share your library to avoid boilerplate code? So if you look at LBTA components from the Twitter series on the YouTube channel, you can find a lot of that code. Yes, it is leak code. That's the algorithm platform. Check out the app called Do It. It's an app that conducts a live stream quiz and give cash money for winning every round. Interesting. I've always wanted to actually do that, like some kind of thing. Have you tried Golang for backend? Yeah, the website that letsbuildthatApp.com is built on Golang. Just wanted to say thank you for everything. You've been so helpful in my learning of Swift and the experience overall. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in and being an avid Swift learner. Ilez Bensalem. What happened to LPTA components? I don't know what happened to it really. The intent was good. I just didn't like how I had to install this LBTA components that I wrote. I didn't want to force people to install another pod. So the most important thing that I wanted people to use was okay, the anchoring extension. Like, I hate writing out auto layout anchor code. So, either use SnapKit or some kind of anchoring extension method. Otherwise, you'll go crazy with the auto layout code. The other thing was, registering and dequeuing cells for your lists, collection views and whatnot. Extremely tedious. You don't want to do that. So maybe I'll bring it back. I'll resurrect it from the dead. Thanks for everything you've done. What's your favorite anime? So you guys see that poster in the back right there? That is Attack on Titans, AOT. If you want to watch a really good anime, the first season of Attack on Titans, really good. Story is confusing as all hell, and they never explain what the hell's going on in that show. But packed with action. And eventually you'll kind of understand what the hell they're talking about, like why the hell there are Titans on Earth. World with Green, want to say big thank you. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know what pushkit is. Yes, you do have to train the model. What stage is Vapor series? Is there any plan, like paid course about Vapor? Yeah, so the stage of the Vapor series right now is I got the Vapor package installed through terminal, and I haven't really opened it yet. So what have I been doing these past couple of days? I don't even know. The podcast app, that's already available on the website if anyone's interested. Maybe I should send out an email about the podcast course. I don't know what Truecaller is. I think Periscope died, right? PWA, the next big thing. Well, if you have to shout it out in caps like this, it's probably not the next big thing, right? People should know about it already, and you wouldn't have to shout it out in gaps. Wow, you make the best content on mobile development. I am very glad. I'm just adding extra emphasis on this. I'm very glad that your channel is in my subscriptions. Waiting for the new courses. Good luck in the new year. I wish I could read your name. Is this Abraham? Abraham? I'm gonna call you Abraham. What about upcoming technologies from Microsoft? How to learn a third technology. Aren't we all learning like 5-6 different things at the same time? You have to learn yet something else. Okay, Johan Albertsons, did I start my business because of John Somnes? So I found John Somnes after I quit my full-time job in 2016. 15? 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 2015. I quit in December of that year. And then I started producing these videos, and then I think I found John Somnes' channel. And then he had a very interesting book called The Guide to like Software Development, or How to Be a Better Paid Software Development Person. And I thought his content was interesting. And then I followed him for I think a couple of months, and it was decent. And then for some reason he totally went off the rails and went in a completely different direction. So, who knows what the heck he's doing right now. It's kind of crazy. I guess while we're on John Somnes, I don't know why he produces so many videos. because I don't know, I feel like no one watches his videos. If you look on his channel, he gets barely like 1,000 views per video. So why produce so many videos? It seems like I don't know, if no one's watching, why produce? I don't understand that part of the business plan there. Yeah. And there's always this weird I feel like John does these strange flexes. It's a weird flex. I feel like every one of his videos he tends to flex on you, which is I find very comedic. I just find it funny. Have I thought about writing a book that shows different design patterns? I personally don't read books myself, so I don't know how I would write an interesting book. TDD Swift. Okay. Happy New Year to you. It's 4:33 a.m. in Malaysia. Thanks for teaching me so much this year. And thanks for the knowledge. It helps me a lot. Keep it up. Have a nice lunch. I'll try to have my lunch soon. I'm also in the process of starting my YouTube vlog to share my life as an iOS freelancer in Malaysia. I will pray for your success. Will you upload this stream's video to YouTube? Yeah, whenever this stream ends, it'll be processed. And oh my God, it's 2 hours already. Okay, so we love you. What's poppin'? Nothing much. MVVN, B to the R to the IAM. What up, Joseph? Joseph. What's exactly the best way to learn iOS development? Because I'm taking Ray Wenderlich Team Treehouse. I don't know what the best way is to learn something. You kind of just have to do it. I mean, I learned a lot from Ray Wenderlich's tutorials, but before I got into Ray Wenderlich, I already had I was already working full-time as a software developer. So, you know, I was very familiar with looking online for solutions. So, if you're just coming into programming and like you're coming into iOS development to learn how to program, that's probably not the best thing to do. Now, you have to know how to work with for loops and write functions before you get into iOS coding. Like, there's such a huge ramp that you have to overcome if you don't know programming in the first place. E-Sneaker, I made the live chat. Looking forward to what you have planned for 2019. Really looking forward to the Vapor course. Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning how to work with Vapor 3, which is now using Swift's NIO framework. MVVM is Viper. Okay. Voice app. Don't really know. What is a Netflix clone confirmed? So is a Netflix clone confirmed. See, the difficult part about Netflix clone is I have to build out this entire database for all of these videos, and I don't know. I don't think I can actually use these posters. Right? It's not legal because the posters are trademarked and there's copyright on this stuff. So I don't think I can actually use it. So I'll have to make some kind of like fake database. And at that point, I don't know if you guys want to use like a fake database. You probably want to pull the real data from Netflix, right? So I don't know. Is it just the UI that you're interested in building? Or is it the actual watching of Netflix content? Because when I make these courses, I have to ask that question a lot. Hopefully people are not watching the watching these videos to get real information, right? We all know this is just building out fake stuff. We're just building out fake apps here, right? We're not really building the real thing. Okay, old people still use Facebook. Even my parents don't use Facebook anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. Of course, with UI, unit testing, more tests. Big important thing for iOS corporate jobs. Yeah, true. I'm on Twitter and IG more now. Yeah. You're really the best. I would love to see more Flutter in the future. Okay, we got to the last question. Thank God. P2 or P8 file push notification. If you're on Firebase, I think you're only allowed the P8 file, or one of these files. It doesn't support both. Vapor, Katura, and most of the server-side frameworks are written on Swift and IO now. Yeah. Maybe we could do a series on that and it would cover everything. Yeah, eventually. What is this? Okay, I'm watching that video that you just linked. I don't know what you're trying to show. Okay, I can't change my password on letsbuildthatup.com. So SWAT version 3. Okay. I've only seen you use storyboards in the storyboards versus code speedrun video. Yeah. That was a fun video. And hopefully the point that I was trying to explain in that video, hopefully my point came across as, easy to understand. Coding is a lot faster once you have your boilerplate code taken care of in libraries, so you don't have to do that yourself. And the worst part about storyboards is you have to hook up these IB outlets and IB actions. Like, who the hell wants to do that? It's so tedious dragging these lines everywhere. I hate dragging lines. Okay. We are crossing the 2-hour mark, and I'm going to wrap it up now. So as you can see, we have quite a few different suggestions for the year of 2019. In the first month, I'm going to try to slowly build out and outline the course curriculum for building out the IG Stories application, which is what you're seeing right here. And it's not going to be like a full-fledged app, but the content that we're going to be able to support is some kind of bar or some kind of paging mechanism that allows you to swipe through all of these stories one by one. And I'm going to try to support multiple users inside of the story group. This way you can have a fun way to interact between stories. I'll probably include this on the website as a paid course later on, because I feel like there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. Maybe I'll do it on YouTube. Yeah, we'll see. And then there's a lot of these types of clones that we have, like the Uber clone, some kind of e-commerce app. E-commerce will probably deal with building out like a Node.js backend to support payment processing a lot easier. You have to, deal with credit cards and PayPal somehow. So we'll do that. The Uber clone, maybe I'll condense what I can teach you guys in terms of a map kit and also driver rider app with GSP tracking or GPS tracking. And eventually we'll get into like a Kotlin Instagram type of social media app. Flutter Instagram is also something that I will get into, hopefully. So design patterns and MVVM, I don't really I don't find this stuff extremely interesting to teach because it's so abstract. Like you have to go through so many different examples as to how you can justify using a complicated architecture pattern. And if you don't have more than like 100 or 200 classes inside of your project, using something like using MVVM even is kind of overkill. So we have the App Store release cycle. I'll probably not do this. We have a Netflix clone. I'll think about how to structure this out with some fake data. Vapor 3, I'll have to learn how to do this myself. And yeah, so a lot of people have been asking for some kind of app to play videos offline, or somehow to play videos offline, either on the website or on an iPad. So eventually I'll release an app for the iPad where you can save some of the course videos so you can watch that offline. Whenever you have to get on an airplane, you can watch these videos. Extremely helpful. And I'll do that. But isn't Vapor dead? What happened to Vapor? I haven't really heard it. Like either Katura or Vapor. Who knows? But yeah, I will eventually get all of this done. And sounds like a lot in 2019, but we'll see how much we can do. How would you use cloud code to join and or queries in Firebase? You have to pull in a lot of data using cloud functions. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. I will check in with you guys in 2019. I don't have any videos planned for release in the next couple of days, but maybe I can get one done today, maybe later in the afternoon, and release it before 2019. And that's where I will see you guys again. So thank you so much for today's stream, and enjoy the holiday parties. Bye, guys.